Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the SWP's, the Springboard Plancha podcast. My goodness, I'm your host, Johnny T. All right, we got with us the Tribal Cheese here, and we also we got Mr. Zero. Okay, I'm going to edit that out. But we're here today. We're trying out this wrestling podcast. We are three guys that have been watching wrestling since we were all kids. We're all different ages, but for the most part, we've watched wrestling for at least over 10 years plus. Pretty much in that same generation, right, guys? More or less. About the, let's just say the 98 to about current generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
Yeah.
I know I had a drop off here and there, but it's exciting getting back into wrestling. That's for sure. Watching today, watching today. Oh man, this is cool. Like I had an alarm set and everything. Like, okay, I gotta watch wrestling, can't miss it. So it was cool to get back into stuff.
Not for me, man. This is a chore, man. I was ready to go to sleep. I told Johnny T earlier that I just wanted to go and watch some NFL football, but here I am. They dragged me in, so I'm here.
Well, that's what we do here.
Tribal cheesing it.
That is exactly what we do here. But I'm probably the only one of the group here that's probably been watching wrestling nonstop since about, I want to say, since about 99. I want to say I haven't missed an extended period of time of wrestling. I've been watching it every week. If I miss it, I always try to go back and watch it and see something. We're primarily going to be talking about WWE on this podcast because I don't think we have enough time to mess around with the other ones. Not to say anything bad about those, but just going to try to keep it simple for you guys and whatnot. But let's start off with talking about tonight's Monday Night Raw episode that just ended about maybe about an hour ago, and talking about starting off with the biggest piece of news that I think everybody was hoping to hear, and it's exactly what happened, that Akira Tozawa is going to show up on Survivor. I'm kidding. Randy Orton is coming back to the WWE at Survivor Series after being off of our TV screens for 18 months. And I just got to say real quick that I'm happy just to know that he is going to be back after seeing so many different things and innuendo that he was not going to probably come back to wrestling. There was a really high chance of that. So I'm just glad we're going to get him back. What are y'all guys' thoughts on that whole entire segment there leading up to that?
Yeah, for sure, man. Just watching, I remember seeing an article recently that said, he could be facing retirement just because of the injury that he's sustained, I guess, over his career. So it was definitely, I was hoping to hear that he'd be back. So that was a nice surprise. I wasn't sure if I had a couple picks. I was thinking maybe AJ Styles would be cool, but I was like trying to think of who's still in the roster and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a good surprise for sure. I heard Cody talking about legacy, so I was like, what if throws him for like a loop and it's like Ted DiBiase Jr.
I saw something on Twitter or X. I don't even know what the hell we should call it nowadays. But I saw something on there that he was going to come out like Dom did, like in the like Dom did at WrestleMania in like the cop car thing, because that guy's in jail right now. So.
Yeah, so I think maybe I might be the only one that was like a little unimpressed with the way this was rolled out. I think I was a little disappointed. I mean, I wanted the out of nowhere. I really wanted the out of nowhere. I didn't really like the announcement without Randy being there. I think that for me was like a little disappointing because we were all kind of anticipating that he was going to make his return soon, and I think we were all hopeful. And I think there was a little bit of hints being dropped that it was going to be Randy. But out of nowhere, like, we're missing that, right? We're missing the very core of Randy Orton, right? Like, you drop a few hints or whatever, but the Viper Strikes in a little hoodie, a little black hoodie. He's a cameraman or something, and even just an entrance, right? Even I understand that maybe he's still got to work his way back into ring shape, but even to just playing his music and he walks out of the back, so they can see what they're up against. So the way the show ended for me was like a little bit of anticlimactic.
That's the perfect word for that, because that's actually I don't have that word exactly in my notes here, but I wrote down Randy Orton will return at Survivor Series. Boo, but cool. Because I was hoping that he would actually show up tonight. Thought that would have been kind of a cool little deal there. I also was kind of thinking as we're watching this that we had about like a minute or two to like you're gonna run out of time, Cody. Spit it out, man. You're gonna run out of time here. Like the marker was, I think, about 9:59 when he said when he made that kind of announcement. And then, of course, the TV cut off, boom, like that, real quick. So, so I thought it was a little anticlimactic. I was hoping that he would just show up, or that something like that, a little more pomp and circumstance. But either way, it's fine, and I am excited just to see him come back on Sunday.
You think he takes that fifth spot?
Oh yeah, that's
last one in the ring.
Oh, that's what you mean, like the last one in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I think that's spot, right?
I think you save him the best for last kind of thing. Might as well do that. The advantage does go to the Judgment Day after Drew McIntyre won that match against Jey Uso. That was the main event. We're gonna start off with that. Drew wins against Drew McIntyre wins against Jey Uso, and gives the Judgment Day the advantage, which means that they get the lead numbers. I don't know if y'all know exactly how War Games works. If you saw it last year, you have an idea how that works. If not, then that basically means that they'll start off with more guys in the ring than the opposing team. So that for a little while, it'll be a 2 against 1 for a little while before they kind of even the odds. And then as all 5 of them get into the ring, that's when 10 people are in the ring. That's when War Games starts. That's when pins and submissions count at that point.
Refresh my memory. Is it just one pin, one submission, or is it elimination style?
It is one pin or submission, but it doesn't start until everybody comes in. Like no pins, no anything can take place until all the competitors are in the ring. And then going back to this main event, this was so funny. Like this, I laugh my ass off sometimes about how the pacing of the show goes. Like Drew McIntyre comes in at about 9:28, Central Time. So I'm thinking, God, they're gonna have him wrestle for about 30 minutes, huh? Yeah. And Drew McIntyre literally just stood there for like 10 minutes at least. I have it right here in my notes. He stands in the ring for about 10 minutes. You have a Bronson Reed promo. You have the Survivor Series card read. You have the War Games promo explaining to you what War Games is if you didn't already know. Then you had the Jey Uso and crew promo in the background talking about, did you get the 5th guy? Did you find the 5th guy? Then you get his entrance. All of that happened with Drew McIntyre just standing there.
Drew McIntyre can't get no respect. Can't get no respect. Poor man. Yeah, he's just he's not. I feel like there's something to this Judgment Day thing. Mm-hmm. I really feel like there's something here. But Drew's in this really weird spot. Like he's like a quasi heel. I feel like he's trying to be in that like Randy Orton like atmosphere where he's neither a heel nor a babyface. He's kind of in this really weird spot where like I don't like anybody. And I think that's a really bad place for him to be. I think he should really choose I think he should fully embrace being a heel. I think he should really join the Judgment Day. That's my opinion. I feel like not only should he join the Judgment Day, but I feel like he should lead it because I feel like that would propel him to stardom, to superstardom. If he comes in and takes and challenges or whatever for the I guess, control of Judgment Day and beats Damian Priest or whatever and says, you know what, I'm running the show now. Who's going to stop me? I think Rhea would back him up. And I think that I can only imagine what Drew McIntyre would do at the head of Judgment Day.
I think we can all agree that Mommy's the real leader of Judgment Day.
I'm telling you, Mommy can lead me anywhere.
It is kind of weird. You know, I mean, it was like my first episode back, and you know, I watched it here and there, and it's kind of weird how they just kind of threw him in there, and it's like, well, you know, from what I got, it was like 2 years since he had wrestled Roman Reigns, and
yeah,
you know,
he's still mad about that.
Jey Uso ruined it. Now he's finally taking revenge 2 years later. It's kind of so that was one thing.
Yeah, it's a plot device for Drew to kind of make that, like you said, a quasi heel turn, if you want to call it that way. I mean, throughout that whole entire that match, he worked as a heel, like every single all his mannerisms, all the move sets. He even won with his heel finisher. He didn't even win with his normal Claymore. He won with the Future Shock DDT, which is a his classic finisher that he was using when he first came into the to the Federation. But so he worked. I think Drew works very, very well as a heel, but I do think there is something to be said, like you said, Cheese. I think he needs to either go full or like make a distinction. Maybe they're working toward it because this is just kind of fresh. But I didn't get any babyface vibes from Drew McIntyre tonight. So
I didn't get any babyface vibes, but he definitely needs something because Drew's just never gonna get there. There's something that's holding him back. And I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like if he was to join the Judgment Day, just imagine that with a group, what could Drew become, right? Because you kind of see too, like even Roman Reigns, right? He didn't really kind of hit his stride until he was the head of the table,
correct?
Right? Until he's interacting with all these other superstars, and I'm the boss here. And I feel like we'll see a different side of Drew. So, and Judgment Day's hot right now. So what does he have to lose? I mean, what his career's taken off? Like it's not. He's kind of stuck in that like mid card, losing to guys at Crown Jewel, just kind of like he's kind of just not doing nothing right now. And I feel like Drew should be doing more. He's got the look, got the size, he's got the discipline, but he doesn't have the crowd. I think that he especially after this heel turn. It was funny because my wife made a comment. She was like, "Does he have any fans?" And I was like, "Well, it's because he's he's like in that quasi space, right? Like it's kind of hard to like him if you like heels, and it's also kind of hard to dislike him because he's kind of still a good guy, right? He's like, I don't like the Judgment Day. I don't like you guys. So, he needs to figure out which side of the coin he's going to be on. I think that will help him. He's trying to still be him. He's trying to be Drew McIntyre. But that is not working for him. It's not working for him yet. He's not Roman Reigns. He's not going to get it done like that. He's going to have to figure out who he actually is. Yeah. He's probably going to need a group to do it.
I can agree with that. And I do feel, not to go too much of a tangent on it, but I do feel like the Judgment Day, unfortunately, like most things, it's going to come to an end sooner or later, and they've already kind of planted the seeds with that. We'll go through that here more in a minute, but Drew getting thrown into it, I do think that this should go further than Survivor Series. But I guess we won't know until after whatever happens at Survivor Series. But I do think that him and Judgment Day could build something there and help further him into this different role that he hasn't had in what seems like forever. And that could potentially help. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could potentially help him win the world championship that Seth has, knowing that he's finally embraced. This is the only way I can do this. didn't work the other way, so I'm gonna do it this way this time. And then there you go. That's how you take the belt off of Seth. But I don't know if that's the plan. But I'm talking kind of ahead here. But that main event was pretty good. I thought it was a decent enough match between Drew and Jay. And what I was actually really impressed with that match is that there wasn't any shenanigans until the end, until after the match. So I thought that was kind of like he beat him clean.
Yeah,
right. Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure. He just
no. He hit
clean.
the featured shock. It was a solid win for.
There was no distractions, right, from anybody. Like that's what I was like. Oh wow! I was almost expecting. I was waiting for. I was like, here comes the Judgment Day, or here comes what's going on, what's happening. No, I was like, wow. So we got a pretty nice little main event match. I think the match went about after all the commercials and everything. I think it went about 15 minutes. I think.
Yeah. So what do you give that match? Because I got a grade for it.
So how are we doing our grading system? Because
A B C D. F.
Just a regular.
Terrible.
Regular. So we're gonna do a school grades.
And you can do plus or minuses as well. Yeah.
Just
plus or minuses as well.
5-star rating.
What you got? What you got? 0.
What's that?
What you got? 0. Tell me what you got.
I give it like if I'm going like off out of 5, like best out of 5, I'm gonna give it like maybe I'll give it like a 3.7. I
say for the sake of continuity, let's keep the grading system universal. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do numerical or do we want to do school grades?
Well, I don't want to get into 3.7, 3.8. So let's just do school grades. A plus or an A minus or a B plus or a B minus.
I give it like a solid B.
Yeah.
Good.
For me, so I'm going to give this a B minus. I'm going to give this one a B minus. The only reason I'm going to give the match itself was a little clunky at times. I saw a couple of different botches, specifically with Drew, kind of like taking bumps on the ropes with Jay. They kind of didn't know what they were doing there, and Drew was like throwing himself into the ropes. I kind of think they were trying to wrap things up. The match was decent. It was a little uninspired, I want to say. Obviously, the Future Shock DDT didn't do much for me. But the reason I'm going to give it a B minus, though, from a B to B minus, is the ending. The actual walk off of the segment. Randy Orton's coming back, but he's not here tonight. So you guys will just have to see him. You'll just have to see him at the
No,
at War
yeah,
Games.
I got you.
And that's where I was like, I just kind of, yeah.
No, that's okay.
That just didn't do it for me at all. So I'm gonna give that one. I'm gonna give that ending a B minus.
There's no judgment on grades here. So.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm gonna give the match itself a B. Solid, standard, kind of really your standard main event. Really, nothing too. There was really nothing. I mean, the advantage was on the line, but I mean, not really that much at stake. But it was. I did appreciate a clean match. No distractions. You just let these guys kind of battle each other, and then you had a very clear winner. So I give that a B. I think I want to say the match that I saw that was a dark match between the two seemed a lot better. But TV matches can be kind of weird sometimes. But I'll give it a B. If we're talking like the whole segment as a whole with the after the fact, like the after the match segment, I'd give that a C because I was expecting Randy Orton to come out. If Randy Orton comes out, that segment's an A because damn, it's good to see him. But he didn't. I thought once I saw Cody getting his hand on the mic, I was like, you got 2 minutes, bro. What are we gonna do here? And it just seemed really, really quick and it's cool. It was neat, and I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, like the ending segment just kind of left me with a meh taste in my mouth. Like damn, I wish it would have come out. But it didn't.
I was like him to take over against like Cody and the crew. and then the Viper music come out, and then here it comes, and he's RKOing everybody, Stone Cold style, almost.
Exactly. Like you just see him like come out from like slide under the ring or something and start hitting some RKO's, or even that I hear boys. You hear that come on. You're like, yeah, here we go, man. Yeah. But it never.
Yeah, I wanted to
but
see
it didn't come. So now you already know what's happening. Like what's happening, and it'll still be cool to see it on Saturday. But he's coming now, and is it gonna be as hot? Because like you said, this is why I'm gonna throw just really quickly. I'm gonna be devil's advocate to your Survivor Series thing. We're gonna talk a little bit about that, but and say I think Randy Orton should actually start the match. The reason I say that is because you're gonna hype up Randy Orton to be this fifth guy to just watch him sit in a cage for 20 minutes. He's gonna be literally just standing there.
That sounds like something WWE would do. To be completely honest with you.
If I was them, I would go ahead and just start him, give him the whole pomp and circumstance entrance so he can walk to the ring, with his, because all these other guys they're just going to kind of walk to the cage and then that's it. But, let him walk to the ring and whatnot. You're probably right. They probably will just have him be the last guy to come out in the cage. But I think giving him a pomp and circumstance entrance after 18 months of being gone would be kind of cool. I don't even know what he looks like anymore. I mean, but yeah.
Can we talk about that match really quick though?
The main event match again?
Itself.
Yeah. We'll go into that here in a minute, but but let's go ahead and start from the beginning of the show now. So Monday Night Raw emanated from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I was hoping that with it being in Michigan that we would have a hot crowd, and I feel like we did. And that started off with the Drew segment, which was the promo of him coming out and saying that he was, blah, 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 blah. I feel scorned because, the bloodline messed up my life and whatnot, and I was supposed to have this huge thing. And as far as the Drew promo was concerned, I thought we'd go back to, it was kind of a, I don't know what he is yet promo. He was kind of heel. It was mostly heelish, but not quite all the way there. Didn't quite tell the fans screw you just yet, but was kind of there. Made some good points. I kind of liked the fact that the people that Jey Uso has kind of scorned over the last year or so still haven't quite got over it. And half of them have, half of them haven't. So I see his point. But then when I heard that he was not going to be, that he wasn't a part of the Judgment Day, I thought that was kind of interesting. But the promo itself, I thought it was decent enough. What do y'all guys think?
I mean, I gave his opening promo because Drew McIntyre on the mic is fire. He delivers. He delivers absolutely every single time, and that's not something that I can ever say that I've actually heard. Any kind of bad promo. He makes it very personal, and he puts his heart and soul into what he's saying.
Yeah.
The problem is I just don't like what he's saying because it's a lot of woe is me. I'm tired of hearing Drew McIntyre talk about how everybody screwed him and he's the chosen one and he's supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that. Either you're going to get there or you're not. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, yeah. I think at this point in time, you got to figure something out because, you can't just keep coming out there and telling us what you are. And, Drew's going to have to do something about the way he approaches his character too, because there's something so it turns a lot of people off. There's like a little bit of a try hard kind of like, a crybaby mentality about the way he talks about himself. I mean, think about that. He's talking about stuff that should have happened like 2 years ago, right? Like that's his thing. And people have been saying the whole show, let it go. Just let it go. Like move forward, right? And I think that's what Drew has to do. So as far as the segment itself, I gave it an A because I thought he spoke really well. Mm-hmm. But there's something missing from Drew. There is, and he's gonna have to figure this out.
Fair enough.
I guess for the opening, I liked it because it set up the main event for the evening.
Good point.
Like I said, I was hoping it would be better. For me, it felt like it had momentum issues a little bit. But like you said, Drew can cut a good promo, and it also set the you know set it up for like who's the fifth member, and we're all kind of hoping for something bigger at the end, but it is what it is, and still overall it was a good promo, and a good setup for the night and for War Games.
Oh yeah, for sure. Uh, a theme of the rest of this show before we get into that, because it happened pretty quick, that I wrote a note about that I love, is that Adam Pearce is a national treasure. That guy just comes out and looks so beat down, but he plays that character so well. It's so great.
Hey, you know what? He's doing a lot better than he used to do. I mean, I feel like Adam Pearce has gotten a lot better.
No, yeah, I think Adam Pearce has embraced this character now that he has. At first, it was just really dry, and it was just kind of like it was very cookie cutter. I think he actually has a personality now. It's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of it's cool to see. He's really really good at what he does. So
Yeah.
So we move on to the first match of the night, which get ready for this one. Raquel Rodriguez versus Nia Jax in just a one-on-one match. They've been going through a program for the last month, it seems, since Nia Jax came back in one way or another, whether Rhea was involved in it or not. And I only have one note on this match, and then y'all can talk. Meh. Meh. That was my note.
I'm gonna let you take this one.
One of the things that I did like that was one of the highlights, I guess, like of the match, was the Samoan drop into the ring post. That like kind of like took Raquel out of the match. You know what I mean? From then on, her back was kind of done. Commercial, and then comes back, and she's still getting her back messed on the ring post, and it's like, okay, they're working that. They worked that ring post tonight. I think there was like 6 ring hits like overall. And every match there was at least one. Yeah, and then really Raquel just kind of screwed herself tonight. Just trying to show her power to Nia Jax, and her back just couldn't do it, and from there, from that Samoan drop on the ring post was the beginning of the end of that match.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So on this one, I gave this match a C plus. Obviously it was the first match, and it wasn't meant to be that great. I will say that while you named it, your note was meh, my note was plain. It was just a plain match.
Yeah.
Right. There was nothing exciting about it. And the sad part is I don't think it's Nia Jax's fault, actually. I just, there's something missing with Raquel. I don't know what it is. She's a pure babyface. She's supposed to be this great performer coming in, and she's supposed to be the future. And I do not see it with her. I don't see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Yeah, on the touching on the Nia Jax thing, man. I loved it because she's like, oh, what's the matter? You know what I mean? She's like playing to the. I love like the character she's been playing when she starts talking her mess, and I was enjoying that part of it, and it's just the rest of it was like okay.
Yeah,
I love Nia Jax too. No. She belongs here. That's what I think. I think she belongs in the WWE. The WWE needs Nia Jax.
There's only one thing I don't really like about Nia Jax, and it's I guess it's to the eye of the beholder, but I think she works really really stiff, where it looks like she's actually hurting people, and she has before. She has a bad track record of that. But like I'm watching that now. The bonsai drop, I don't know what does she call it now? It's not the bonsai drop, but she calls it something else. But it's the from the top, her finisher. That was kind of neat. That's a good the Yokozuna drop. That was kind of nice, and I thought she was really safe on that one. But the one that was just kind of like the backdrop onto Raquel's ribs, I thought she really landed a little too square. But that's just that's being nitpicky, I guess. But I do like.
Yeah, you're talking about the senton bomb, right?
That's what you want to call it, the little drop one, little standing one.
Yeah.
I think she kind of hit that a little stiff, but hey, Raquel's a big girl, so I think she can handle it. the one thing about Raquel is I'll give you that is that I just don't know what am I supposed to believe in Raquel Rodriguez when she's lost every big match she's been put in, and I mean she's cool, but is that all you want her to be? Or you just want her to be like I mean, because she gotta be clean. I mean,
Yeah.
to build up Nia Jax for what? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, I don't know. I something's missing there, and then we need to go back to the drawing board a little bit on that one. Because Nia Jax,
She just doesn't have it.
I feel like Nia Jax is established. You know who she is. You know what she's gonna do. She's plug and play in whatever situation you want to put her in. Raquel, I just don't know yet. I don't know. But the good thing is that she's young. She's got time. But that's why I thought it was kind of meh. I was like, oh, well, a good. I guess good opener match. I guess
Yeah.
I gave it a D. That was
Yeah.
kind of clunky.
Ooh,
But
you're harsh with your grades.
I gave it. I was kind of clunky, but
We're gonna change your name to the Professor
there you go.
JT.
So we move on to the second segment of the night, which is the Judgment Day and the babyfaces discussing the War Games Advantage match. Who's gonna be in it? I did like the fact that the Judgment Day seemed to agree to disagree on who's the leader of what and who makes the decisions. I thought the back and forth between them all is pretty good on that. And when we all know, like we said, I think Rhea's the real leader, but Damien's the leader for now. And then, of course, on the other side of things, the baby faces also agreeing to disagree about who should be in the match and who should be doing that. So those segments were kind of cool, continuing to build the main event. I thought those were pretty nice little segments there.
Yeah, it was a nice little, I guess, a segue to the next thing. Yeah, it was interesting though to see like Drew and Damien, kind of fighting for who's gonna get the match. Obviously. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. If Drew's not really feeling Judgment Day, we'll see if that plays a part at
Well, it's like I said too. The kind of the not so subtle animosity in Judgment Day, where Damian Priest is talking to Rhea and saying, "You didn't tell me that you were talking to Drew, that Drew was going to be a part of this, and I'm supposed to be the leader of this War Games match, right?" But we're cool though. But we're all great. We're all cool though, right? We're good. We're all good. So interesting stuff to see where that's going to end up leading to. That's what I'm saying. Like I think this all points to the inevitable Judgment Day breakup at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
Well, I think Judgment Day stays together, and I think they need a leader. And I think that leader is going to be Drew McIntyre, because it's clear to me that they don't have a leader. Damian Priest, he's not that guy. Neither is Finn Balor. For all the talent that Finn Balor has, he was never going to be a replacement for Edge. I don't know what WWE was thinking. Edge has the leadership. Edge was the leader. So now you have this group, and Dom, don't even get me started on Dom. I don't even know who the last guy's name is, so we're not even going to talk about him.
JD McDonough.
Judgment Day is a really hot. It's a really hot thing right now.
It is.
It's a really hot group, but it doesn't have a leader. And somebody like Drew McIntyre could really, I would say, spice this up and keep it going for a little bit longer. Yes. We don't need to break up another faction. We need to keep some of these together and keep them growing, because it's still a good faction. So
yes, I agree.
Yeah,
their segments are usually really are usually good, and adding the Drew McIntyre element to it, I think, will only make it better if they do decide to keep it going after Survivor Series.
I think it'd be interesting to see another female, and then her and the other.
Oh, so now you're talking more than. Can there be more than one mommy?
No, but like the two females go after the tag team titles on the that it could kind of be like trying to get all the titles type of thing.
I don't know. You're gonna have to talk to mommy about that one.
Yeah.
So then we move on. Then we move on to match 2 of the night, which is the first women's match of the night, which is Becky versus Xia Li.
It's the second match, the second women's match of the night. Unless you don't consider Nia Jax and
That's what I meant to say. Yes, excuse me. Sorry. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say it's the second match of the night, which also happens to be the second women's match. So the first two matches of the night are women's matches, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's good, but I thought, wow, that's kind of an interesting way to lay it out. You had Becky versus Xia Li. My note on this one was better, better than the first match. But anytime Becky's in the ring, I mean, you're gonna get at least a good match. And for people that don't know who Xia Li is, she's a really good worker herself too. The match was at times a little bit clunky, but it seemed to work very well. And once again, a clean winner again. Becky wins the match, and then it leads to all the chaos after the fact, which I thought was good. Clean winner, then let the chaos kind of come in. There's been too many weeks where every single match has some kind of interference or some kind of BS stuff going on, and it's fine, but it's just takes away from, okay, we're supposed to have wrestling matches too, right? And sometimes you just want to have clean outcomes. And tonight, I feel like there was a lot of them, and but for this match, I gave this one a B plus. I like Becky. I like the way Becky works. Xia Li works well. It was it didn't go for like 20 minutes. It was good length, good enough. After the match, the segment after that, I don't even know where the brand split and all that matters anymore because everybody just comes in whenever they want. But I guess it showed you what to look forward for the women's Survivor Series match. So I thought that was okay.
Yeah. So on this one, I wrote down a really important note, and I thought it was JT. I thought it would be your future wife, because I know you have a soft spot for the Asian wrestler.
What you got? What's your note that you got?
Oh no!
Did we lose him? Okay, so Zero, while he's trying to come back, you go ahead and talk. What do you think about this match?
So this match, I liked it too, man. I had never seen Xia Li before this match, and this was like a good coming out party for her, for me. And she had some really good moves. One of the moves that I really liked was like a modified, I guess, like the way Booker T used to do his move. So it's like a spinning kick off the ropes.
She incorporates a lot of kicks into her moveset. I thought that was kind of cool. So that's where I kind of said there was a little bit of clunkiness in some of them, but I do like the modified scissor kick and whatnot.
Yeah, that move was sick. And then, man, I always love a good superplex, man. So when Becky pulled that,
that was pretty nice.
Yeah, and then that I think it's called a Beck. What is it? A backhandle slam.
The manhandle slam. The modified rock bottom.
Yeah.
The manhandle slam. That's what she calls it. That's what she won with. And yeah, that was good.
Man, I thought I was gonna see a disarmer. It's been a while since I seen one.
Oh, looks like we lost him.
She went for R bar, and it had a good. I like this match because it had a lot of good momentum back and forth. Xia Li, she had some moments where she was taking control, and then Becky Lynch, she's not gonna go down without a fight. And Xia Li almost had it too, and unfortunately, All
right, we got you back. We got you back, Chief.
Yeah, I got canceled for a second.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. You gotta be careful what you say on these things.
Yeah, Discord wasn't having it. They just threw me right out of the room. So.
No, yeah, me and Zero were just going over the continuation of that match and what for he was saying, and I agree with those that haven't really seen Xia Li before. She has a really really unique skill set and incorporates a lot of different, not right on the Asuka level, but a little bit different, and it works. But Becky is Becky, and what did you call it? What did you call it? What did you call it, Zero? The Becky Jam Slam.
The Becky Jam Slam.
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah.
The manhandle. Yes, he wins with the
Ah,
manhandle slam. So
The manhandle.
what was your grade on that? The cheese before we move forward.
Well, I was gonna say that I don't know anything about Zia Lee, but I
Mhm.
will say that from what I saw her work this match, she is really polished. You can tell she has tenure. I think she lacks a little bit of charisma. I think that's there's something that's like just a little bit. It's just a little bit too low. But I'm curious to see, because we have a lot of really promising female wrestlers that are on the up and coming. So it's going to be really
I
competitive,
mean,
especially in
mhm.
the Asian category, right?
Mhm.
Damage
Mhm.
Control just kind of destroying it right now. So I really think Becky carried the match. That was just my personal opinion. I gave this match a B+.
Yeah, I did too.
Right on the
So
money.
there we go.
Right on the money.
And then the after the fact, the war games brawl. Like I said, brand split. I guess, I don't know about all that, but um, standard brawling stuff. I do like the look of Damage Control. I do like that because that's one that just no doubt you know who's in it now and who's a part of it. There's no I might be in it, but I'm not. All of those people in that group are in it, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
I like.
what do you guys rate Shotzi's hairstyle?
Now,
I don't remember it.
before because you have to understand why she did it first, right?
Ah,
She cut all her off her hair.
Oh, Shotzi. Yeah, I remember.
She cut off all of her hair um to in what's the word that I'm looking for here? To support her sister who's going through cancer.
mm-hmm.
So that's why she originally did the whole shave thing, and I guess now it's like growing back, and so that's what it kind of looks like now. I've always liked the long hair Shotzi look, but I guess she's just working through as her hair grows back and whatnot. But I thought that was kind of cool to when she decided to shave her head. I mean, they made it an angle, but she really had just done it to do that. That was the reasoning for that.
Well, that's the first time I've seen that hairstyle in WWE, so I'm gonna give that a perfect 10 because I thought it was the coolest thing I've seen.
Well, it's what makes her
I was like,
unique.
my goodness, her hair is amazing.
It's what makes her unique for sure. She definitely stands out.
She looks like a cannonball right to come out right out of that tape that she drives in. So it's amazing.
So that what did you give that grade? I don't think I got your grade 0.
I gave it a B+ too. That
So
was like
we're all in agreement with that.
back and forth. So I really liked it. And then this was my first time seeing Xia Li, and I liked what I saw.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting. I'll just be interested to see where they go with her, because this was kind of a match that was a good match, but it didn't really do anything to further the war games because she's not involved in it. But it was good. It was a good match. Oh, and then here's the other thing I didn't necessarily. I mean, it's Becky, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But having Xia lose clean while she's going tomorrow night to compete for the NXT Women's title, does that do anything to her? I guess. I mean, because you lose to Becky, I guess it's not a big deal. But
Yeah. And like yeah, I did think about that too. I was like, I got kind of like
because to me, just real quickly, sorry, is she's going up against the person that Valkyria that beat Becky. That's a big thing. Not very many people beat Becky clean, and she did.
yeah.
So the challenger for her title is this person who just lost to Becky, who is a person she's already beat. So, but watch them. We'll watch them give her the title tomorrow.
Yeah. But she
Just
ended up
just a small side note, yeah.
out of the ring. So
After all that, we go on to our third match of the night, which was Johnny Gargano versus Ludwig Kaiser. And I do have
Johnny T.
we have Johnny G, Johnny Wrestling versus Ludwig Kaiser. And there's a lot of different things that happened leading up into this match. One of the things that I thought was they still continue to drive the implosion of Imperium, the scuffle between the two guys before the match, telling them not to come in, blah 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 blah. For the first time in what seems like months, we finally get. This is why I like the crowd. We finally get some Johnny Wrestling chants, some good ones too, some loud ones. And the match itself, I thought was great. I enjoyed it. It was a fun match. I didn't think anything less from those two guys. They're both really good workers in the ring. I thought they had a pretty standard match, really. I gave that one also a B, solid B. I thought.
For me, this was the match of the night. For me, I really like this match.
I kind of had that there too for a little bit. Yeah.
This one had, I feel like it had the best momentum. Johnny Gargano Johnny Wrestling puts on a show. And it was Inzaguri's left and right every time, and that's always that's always awesome. And I really like what I saw from Kaiser too, man. Unfortunately,
he's a great worker.
Yep.
His name's Vinci. Came out and blew up Kaiser. And this was the first match that had some interference, and so it cost him the match. But overall, I really like this match. I gave this match an A.
That's good. I was leaning towards it, but then I was like, B. I'm gonna go B. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
So I wanted to give this match an A. I really did, but I hated the finish. I absolutely hated the finish of this match.
What part of it did you hate?
I thought it was pretty weak. Where was it Kaiser gets distracted,
By Giovanni.
He's distracted. Yeah, Giovanni comes out, he distracts him, and it's just, otherwise it's a great match. I think you don't even have to have that part in there. So I will say this about Johnny. Johnny is an extremely polished babyface.
Oh,
I mean, he's a superstar. That is not, he's going to get there one of these days. It's just going to take him some time. He can do it two different ways too, because when I see that he's back with Ciampa, I'm like, oh my God, this can be something special here.
Yes.
Because those two work really well together. And I don't know, Daniel, Zero, if you've ever seen any of their matches, but you're missing out on some classic NXT matches.
Yeah. If you ever feel like it, go down the rabbit hole. That is the DIY in 2016, and that their battles with FTR and then their eventual breakup and all that. Oh man, that was about a 3-year circle of all that. It was amazing. But
yeah, no, I've seen Johnny Wrestling wrestle a couple times, and every time he does, he puts on a match. Unfortunately, every time I've seen him, he's usually the one getting screwed at the end.
Because he's a babyface. That's why.
I'm getting some real prime Daniel Bryan energy from him.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I can see him. Comparison. I can get that kind of push later on.
Yeah. For now, I do think continue to build up DIY. That can be a very popular tag team. I'll get into it in just a second, but I do think that making tag teams matter again is huge in the Triple H era. I think that's going to be huge if they can do that. If Triple H can pull that off and make tag teams matter again, that's going to be huge.
Not everybody has to be a singles competitor.
Correct.
I mean, some of these, that we don't have as many tag teams anymore, right?
That's what I'm saying, because they all either broke up or they went to do different things, or it just really kind of stopped mattering for a little bit. But now it seems like we're kind of headed towards a renaissance of the tag team division again. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was my kind of 1B match of the night. It was really good. It was fun. It's always good to see Johnny Wrestling, and I love his finisher too. I really like that. I really like
his finisher. Golden. He has several signature moves that are just golden. They're just pristine.
Yeah. What we did see before the match started was the Zoe Stark promo, her little vignette promo leading up. I totally forgot that she was fighting Rhea this Saturday. If that tells you anything about that. I just think that there's very little build here for that match.
Well, and that's because they're not doing anything with Rhea.
Well, because she's so involved in another storyline that she can't. That's why I'm like, do they need to have this match at Survivor Series? I don't know. I guess so. But anyways, so then we move on to the third segment, which is the women's tag title picture, where you get all the women in the room with Adam. This is where Adam Pearce is just gold. Adam Pearce has to shut everybody up, and like he just looks so like defeated, being the general manager of Raw. Like Jesus, Chelsea Green's like amazing. She's so good, such a character. Her in ring work needs work, but her character is just I believe it. I believe that's who Chelsea Green is. But everybody else in there, they're trying to. I mean, I think they're just trying to do whatever they can do with this women's tag division with those titles. They've been cursed for the last 2 years, it seems, and they're just trying to do whatever they can with it. But the Adam Pearce was my kind of 5-star on that segment. He's a national treasure. I don't know if y'all have anything to say about that.
Are we going to talk about? Are we talking about the segment, or are we going to go into the match? Because they're kind of 1A, 1B, right?
So then we can go ahead and do both then. That's because that leads right into the next match, which is the the women's tag fatal 4-way for the number 1 contender. A couple of my notes here where I don't know about y'all guys, but I just really enjoy Maxine Dupree. I don't know what it is about her, but I just enjoy her so much because I never saw her as a wrestler. Like I never thought she could. But thank you. She's worked really whatever she's been doing in her in the in between times. She's really worked really hard. You can't take her too seriously, but I appreciate it and I love the character and I enjoy watching her. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it. It's fun. Of course, the winners of those matches ends up being Tegan Nox and Natalya, which. I don't know how Natalya just keeps being in these things, but okay, I guess. I do like Tegan Nox too. I like what she brings to offer, but I need to see more of the character of Tegan Nox to understand who Tegan Nox is. I like the in-ring work. This match was kind of jumbled, kind of a lot going on. I'd give this one a D as well.
Yeah. So this was my worst match of the night.
Easily, yes.
Unfortunately, like what I said earlier was there was a lot of promising young ladies, young women in WWE. About 80% of them are not in this match. I think there's a lot of average, below average talent in this match. There's a couple of people I really do like. I find Chelsea's personality to be extremely annoying.
That's exactly what they're going for, though.
That's exactly what they're going for. I do not like it. I do think that Carter, she's extremely exciting. I think she has a lot of talent. I think that she's gonna do something. But Maxine is just hilarious to me. Oh my God, I'm just cracking up. I mean, I think it's great how they use her in the promo and how
she's so fun to watch.
They brought her into the match. So, but the match ends on a roll up and. Natalya wins by extension. Like I don't really know what else to say. She just gets another shot at gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she's kind of like it. Kind of almost felt like a developmental match, right? Like it kind of like Natalya being the leader because she's the only tenured superstar in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like one of those developmental matches. And there was a few girls in there that were pretty stiff.
Yes, this is a really stiffly worked match.
They just don't have that. You can tell that they don't have a lot of matches under their belts yet. So this is easily the worst match for me. And go Natalya. Whatever. She's still here. She belongs here. She should stay here forever until she retires. I will never say Natalya should be out of WWE. She brings a lot to the table for these young superstars.
That's what just one last note for me on that. I think that's the reason why that team wins is because I guess you feel like you need a Natalya to kind of lead and carry whenever that tag team match is going to happen for the titles, that's who's going to carry the match. Maybe Piper Niven can, but even she's still like, she runs a little stiff too. The other two, Chelsea and Tegan Nox, you're still trying to figure them out. So yeah, I guess that's why you need a natty. Otherwise, if you have those other teams, then what kind of match are you gonna have? I guess I don't know, but that's what I got on that one. What do you got? What do you got, Zero?
Yeah, for me, I guess this match when it started, it was a little slow for me. I was like, okay, see, this is why this is the part where I had all my notes on my phone, and I was like, okay, I wrote down the teams and the names, and I was like, okay,
you're like girl A,
But you
girl
forgot
B.
you needed your phone to record. Okay.
You're like girl C was pretty good, but girl D was even better. I can't remember her name. The one with the hair.
I remember Maxine, yeah, because thank you, yeah. I love them, and the Alpha Academy is great, but yeah, there was I guess like as far as like stiff, like those was green team. I didn't really see much out of them.
That's exactly who I was thinking of too.
But there was a team that was seeing. I had their names down. They were in red, and I really liked what they brought. They had some good tag team moves, and they brought some energy. When they were in the ring, and
yeah, I believe you're talking about Katana Chance and Caden
Caden.
Carter.
Caden Carter and Katana Chance, yeah.
Yeah,
I really liked them. I thought they did really good. They had some exciting moments, and then man, I thought Maxine was gonna get it at the end, and unfortunately, they got to get it.
Well, Caden Carter and Katana Chance are the only ones that are actually like a tag team. That's what they are. That's what they were in NXT. That's why they work so. That's why they're one of the only teams in this match that worked like a tag team and worked fluidly. These other ones are all they're all hodgepodge. They're all put them together and see what happens kind of deals. That's why Katana Chance and Caden Carter work so well together. Which is why I hope that as we go forward with whatever this women's tag team is going to be, teams like that are already established, that they don't get left to the side. Because those are the ones that you need to kind of build. If your goal is to really build the women's tag division, you got to build it on teams like that. You can't build it on hodgepodge teams because then it's just going to be those titles. If they're not already, they're just going to continue to be a joke. They're going to continue to be a placeholder for a joke, and I don't think that was the intention of those titles when they first came out. But work in progress. What I will say though is that there was a lot of women involved in this show, and I thought that was kind of cool. That was nice.
Yeah, that was cool. I give this match a C. It was I put it above the Nia Jax match, but that was it.
Yep. And then we get segment 4 of the night, which is the Miz and Gunther face to face. And man, I have some opinions on this one. So do I. I have some opinions, and some of them are what it's been, and some of them are like, man, I don't know. So I guess the best way I can start this is saying I don't like the Miz as a face. I don't think he works well. His presentation and the way that he talks just doesn't fit that mold. It never really has. I get what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't work as a baby face to me. I just don't think it works. It doesn't seem natural. The crowd seems to be okay with it, but I just think he works so much better as a chicken shit heel. And it always has, it always will, but I know what they're trying to do. But on the flip side of things, I continue to love the presentation of Gunther. I love that they started to put a suit on him. I think that was a good touch to start having him come out in suits and make him like really look like I am the ring general. And you are here, I am here. That's how he presents himself. Which he should, because I mean, nobody's beat him since he came in. I like how he talks. That's the thing I'm saying. Where it's like I just don't think babyface Miz works because, I mean, Gunther killed him, just straight up killed him on the mic tonight, and that doesn't usually happen to the Miz because I mean,
maybe
I mean, telling the guy that he's a nerd and that he's a punk and that
weirdo too.
He's been bullied his whole life and he's going to continue to get like, man, that made me feel like, damn, the Miz, like poor Miz. But I thought that segment was a pretty good way to set up for the Intercontinental Championship match. I am looking forward to that one. I don't think that the Miz is going to win, but good way to set it up. Good way to go home that angle. I'm not gonna give it a grade, but I thought it was good.
I'm gonna give this a grade because this is my favorite. This is my favorite moment of the night. This is my. I'm not gonna call it the match of the night, but it was my favorite moment of the night. I'll give it an A because it was extremely good. I think on both sides. That the problem is we're not seeing the Miz here. We're seeing Mike. We're seeing Mike Mizanin.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is Gunther is 100% right. Gunther was bred and born for this business, and the Miz is a guy like me and you wanting to dream to get into that business. And the truth of the matter is Gunther's right. He's an entertainer. He's not a fighter like Gunther is. Gunther is a fighter. We all know pretty much that the Miz is going to lose. There's a really great chance that he's going to lose. But I love this. Gunther made it so personal. That's what makes
yes. That's what I liked about it. Yeah.
So good. I thought that Gunther really impressed me on the mic tonight. I was, for a while they weren't really like letting him just take off with the mic. Now he's doing it all by himself. He kind of had a mouthpiece before, but he surprised me. He has so much personality. I loved it. This is going to be a really good underdog story. I think the reason that this works is it's an underdog story for regular people like us who weren't born, who are not genetic freaks to go into WWE and just win. Mike Mizanin is like for the people. Like he is one of us, like just a guy that's just passionate about being in WWE. And he doesn't have the build for it. He doesn't, he's not necessarily that prototype wrestler. And look at what he's done with his career. He's 9-time Intercontinental Champion. The dude still doesn't get no respect. Is it 8 times? Is it 8 times?
8 times. 8 times. 8-time Intercontinental Championship. He's going for the 9th.
The dude doesn't get no respect.
He's a 2-time Grand Slam champion.
2-time Grand Slam champion.
That's insane,
doesn't
right?
get no respect because why? Because he doesn't have that physical presence. Because he doesn't take heavy bumps. He wrestles relatively safe, and he's mainly a entertainer at this point in his career. So this is kind of like very interesting to see what Gunther's going to do to him. It's going to be pretty bad. But I would love to see
a lot of this.
If Mike can do that. Yeah, I would love to see if Mike can perform in this.
That's what
hard hitting match.
That's why I said that I am looking forward to it because I think it's going to be a change of pace for both guys. It'll be a change of pace for the Miz for sure because this is not going to be a technical wrestling match. This is going to be I need to survive as long as I can and try to see if I can sneak out a win here. And for Gunther, it's going to be I'm just going to slap the ever living crap out of you and see if you can survive it, kind of thing. I want to bully you, which is exactly what he said.
Yep.
What you got, Zero?
I think we're looking at the future 9th.
I'm gonna mark that down.
Saturday.
We got the 9th. This is leading up to Miz winning his 9th title. Got it.
And Miz is gonna go in there. He's gonna show him he's not a weirdo. He's gonna go in there and show him why he's been here for 20 plus years in the business, and he's gonna go in there and he's gonna he's not gonna get chopped down. He's gonna chop down Gunther, whatever.
That's Gunther, the ring general.
Yeah, he's a ring private, you know what I mean? And Mike the Miz is gonna look like the ring general, you know what I mean? It's gonna be easy work for him at the end of the day. It's probably gonna be match of the night, match of the year type of thing. But yeah, I mean
the ring general character is one of the best things in WWE right now. I think it has been for a while now.
Yeah,
and with this new added presentation of him, I think it's even better.
Yeah, I think like what he was saying to Miz, it's hard to I don't know how he can say that when he's been there 2 years and the Miz has been there 20 years.
Jeez, that's right. Yeah, he's got a good
because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter because he's the bully. Because none of those guys to him are Gunther. He's completely different on a class of his own.
His whole faction's falling apart, and that's gonna help the Miz, And then who knows, we might see Maris, come in too and add to that little.
I don't think she needs any. I don't think she needs to be anywhere near this match. I think keep her home. No offense to Maris, but keep her out of this one.
It's gonna be like you saw at the end with the skull crushing finale. 1, 2, 3, 9-time champion, The Miz.
Love it. I love this prediction.
I've always liked The Miz. I guess you just need to see what direction they're gonna go with on this babyface turn. That's another one that's like right now he's kind of there in the middle. I don't know what they're doing just yet. I guess we're gonna find out after this program. See how they see.
Miz has been quasi babyface for a while now, because I think at the last pay-per-view, he was friends with the Saudi. Was it at the last Crown Jewel?
Yeah. That's where they started the shift. That's where they started the shift.
Yeah.
His character from being just a chicken shit heel to, something a little bit different.
Stand-up guy.
Something a little bit different.
Don't be surprised if this match is match of the night. Don't be surprised because Miz can do some work.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
And Gunther always delivers.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a minute. But let's go ahead and continue with the because we already talked about the main event, so this is the last segment of Raw we're gonna talk about. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was probably my best in-ring segment of the night. I thought both guys gave good points, and Gunther's I love Gunther, dude. I love him. The last match of the night before the main event was the Shinsuke versus Chad Gable match. Throughout the last couple of weeks, Shinsuke has been running through the whole entire Alpha Academy, and he won this match too here again. This was personally my match of the night, just because these guys work very well and they worked very well together. Chad Gable is just so damn good. I can't say when was the last time I saw a bad Chad Gable match. I haven't. I can't remember. He's just so good. Shinsuke Nakamura. Depending on who you pair him with, he can have a really, really good match, or he can have a really, really kind of match. And in this one, if you pair him up with Chad Gable 5 times, 4 times out of 5, it's going to be a good match. So I thought this was a good one. It flowed really well. Both guys fighting through, different point. Really, a couple of close near falls, which were good. Chad Gable's freaking suplex is just, I don't know how he does that. I don't know how he does that, but he's so good. But I think this the match itself was good. I give it a B+ on that one. But what I want to talk about a little bit more is what they're doing with Shinsuke and what that could lead to. I don't know, Zero, if you've been because you said you haven't really been watching. Well, for Shinsuke, ever since he lost to Seth, which was about a month or so ago, I think, he hasn't lost a match since. Every match he's been in, he's won. Pretty handily, too, for the most part. He hasn't lost any matches since he lost to Seth. So they've been continuing to build him up. He's every week, except for this week was the first time he didn't. He's had these vignettes also talking about his next, who's looking for this person to challenge him to I'm not sure if y'all have been watching those vignettes or those promos or not. Just him in a room talking about who's this mystery person to bring what he's looking for out of him and whatnot and stuff like that. So he's been winning every week. He's been having these vignettes. What is going to be the payoff here? That's what I want to know. Because, just going to put it out there, this Saturday is Survivor Series. Where's Survivor Series at? It's in Chicago. Throughout the night, they also did announce, which I thought was kind of funny, that they're opening up more tickets for both the SmackDown and Survivor Series. I don't know if y'all saw that banner that they're selling more tickets. So more people, they're inviting more people to come. Well, who is this person that he's been talking about for weeks? Why would you build up Shinsuke Nakamura this much, not have him lose, if it wasn't going to be somebody pretty big? This is where I say, what are the chances that CM Punk returns on Saturday at Survivor Series?
0. I'm going to tell you right now, it's 0.
That's fair.
You spent 5 minutes of our podcast with that monologue.
I had to.
Just to talk about CM Punk?
I have to, because why? Because my thing is, why? What are you doing with Shinsuke then? What's the point of it? You're going to build him up this much. You're going to make him have these personalized promos talking about a specific person for what? To have, Guy B from NXT come and challenge him? Like, I don't get it. That's not a payoff to me. Randy Orton is already coming back, so it can't be Randy Orton that he's talking about. So who is he talking about and why? Right? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think it's gonna happen, but man, it's just. I think if they were going to do it, it has to be Saturday. If they don't, it's not. It never will. But I thought that's what I was that's what I was writing in my notes. I was like, the Shinsuke thing. He's on TV every week. He doesn't lose anymore since he lost to Seth, and ever since he lost to Seth, he's been having these promos looking for this mystery guy. Even Michael Cole did mention it during the match that he's been looking for this mystery guy or whatever to challenge or whatever.
But the history with CM Punk and Triple H.
I do, but
that it's going to be a cold day when Triple H lets CM Punk back into WWE. He's recently come out and said he's more trouble than he's worth. So I have to ask you this question.
Sure.
What context clues make you feel like CM Punk's the guy? Because there's other guys. So what's the reason you feel like CM Punk is the guy?
The reason that I say that it could be is because ever since he got fired, like a couple of weeks later, all of a sudden, small mentions here and there, like, kind of like make you feel like, like that was kind of interesting. Okay, wonder what that must have not been anything. In commentary mostly, or in promos, kind of things where you're like, that's kind of weird. And then after the night after Shinsuke Nakamura loses to Seth, he comes out and gives a GTS of all things to Ricochet. Okay. Well, it could mean nothing, right? Could just mean wanted to use that move that he's never used before. Just wanted to use it, right? So then he starts putting these little vignettes talking about this mystery person, this challenge that he's looking for, this person that he's looking for that needs to come and find him, and what I don't know. And then of course it all definitely starts when around this time, right? This little time frame here with Survivor Series in Chicago on Saturday.
Okay,
but all the signs, all the history and everything like that would lead you to believe that it's never, ever going to happen, because it's just a lot of old wounds there, I guess. But like I said, if they were ever going to do it, it would have to be Saturday. There's no bigger stage to do that on than in Chicago, with the way that crowd always is. And if you were going to do it, you're going to do it there. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'll tell you this. If anytime during Survivor Series you're watching it, right? If Shinsuke Nakamura comes out to the ring to do something, get ready. It's going to happen. But
okay, so we're talking about like it's not going to be a match. We're talking about just maybe an appearance or some sort of impromptu match or something like that?
It has to be, because it's not on the card. So
gotcha.
But if you do
possible.
If you do see Shinsuke Nakamura come out to the ring at any point during Survivor Series, because he's not on the card, he's not listed on there, then something is about to happen. If not, then okay, and then it's not going to happen. But I just thought it's kind of interesting, because then if it doesn't, if that's not who it is, right? then why? What's the point of all this Shinsuke Nakamura stuff? What are you doing, or who is it gonna be?
You know, I have to say, like, if they bring CM Punk back, I think it would be entirely wasted to bring him back against Shinsuke Nakamura. I just don't feel like Shinsuke is the opponent for CM Punk. If CM Punk's coming back, he's going to get a headlining caliber match. Maybe Seth Rollins. Maybe something like that.
Well, if he came back, I don't think that would be a bad coming back match, and then he can have other ones too going forward. I don't think it would be a one-off. I think he would definitely come back for at least a year, if not more. But anyways, so that was just my thing on I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's there if they want it. If they're going to do it, it's the scenario is right there. So with that being said, you put it that late in the card today. What's the Shinsuke Nakamura thing? What do you think? How do you feel about that? Let's just say CM Punk aside, right? He's not the guy. He's not the reason that you're doing all this with Shinsuke Nakamura. Then what are you doing?
I can't really tell you because I don't know the direction that they're heading with Shinsuke. It's kind of weird. Like I don't feel like WWE has a lot of faith in Shinsuke. I think that Shinsuke has one of the best gimmicks in the business.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that because you've had him winning for all this time, and
you have him winning against guys that are undercard guys. Chad Gable, amazing worker, tons of respect, but the guy doesn't win. He never has a title. But the last time that we had Shinsuke in a title match, he lost to Seth Rollins
twice. Yeah.
So we don't really have Shinsuke with a lot of faith. I think that he'll work matches and he'll float around to different champions before he's beaten.
So then my question is, why are you doing it? I don't know, man.
What if he's targeting Cody? What if he's targeting Cody Rhodes? He's talking about privilege. He's talking about things like that. So, and Cody has not wrestled Shinsuke, and Shinsuke is a heel.
Could be.
And Shinsuke might want to hurt Cody.
Maybe they're just.
He's gone through Seth Rollins and worked with him, so
maybe they're just waiting till after Survivor Series to launch that. Could be. Hey, it could be.
Maybe they're holding it till after Survivor Series, and Shinsuke's over there freaking out in his room, hearing the voices and.
So keep him warm, keep him winning, keep him going good, and then give him to Cody with the winning streak.
And that right there would be some fire match right there.
That could work.
I think I don't know because I know Triple H he really likes Shinsuke Nakamura. You know what I mean? He's the one that brought him in. So if they're not pushing him for that, they could be pushing him for Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Maybe
so far ahead, but
maybe just like a good little maybe he could win. I don't know. Because they are pushing like the Asian wrestlers lately as of late.
That is a great point because Triple H has been known to say that he loves. He loves the Asian wrestling community. He absolutely loves it. He enjoys it. He built a whole entire brand on it, on that concept that was in New Japan and whatnot. He built that whole entire NXT brand off of that. So he enjoys it. So him, and as you can see, just in the shows themselves and whatnot, the presence of Asian wrestlers is very, very big, and it's not. They're not being portrayed as comedy acts all the time. I'm Asian, like they used to be a lot of the times. You're taking them a little bit more seriously now. I mean, even Kairi Sane, like not to get too much of a tangent on it, she didn't come back with the pirate hat on and a pirate wheel. She came back with a pretty mean looking look, like. Wow.
No,
nice.
She looks good, is what you mean to say. She looks amazing.
For sure, yeah.
But I don't know what happened, but that pirate hat coming off of her just completely changed everything.
But you understand what I'm saying is that like they're being presented more seriously and more like like they're really really good at what they do. You don't have to portray them as stereotypical Japanese Chinese person. You know so and it's working. So yeah, I can see what you're saying from that, Zero. I agree with that.
Yeah, they're really pushing him. So I mean, that'd be interesting to see him, get pushed up until Royal Rumble, and have a shot at whoever's holding the belt. If it's still Seth Rollins, I think he drops it in the coming because they don't want to have
Yeah.
three guys going over a year with the belt.
Yeah. So
Uh,
so let me look at the betting odds to see what CM Punk's return looks like.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's two heels, though. CM Punk's not coming back as a babyface. He's coming back as a heel.
If he's coming back to WWE, he's gonna come back as a face to start off because that's just
It won't work.
because there's just no way anybody thinks it's gonna happen. So of course everyone and if he were to return in front of that Chicago crowd ain't booing him. They're going batshit insane. But I just wanted to have fun with it, talk about it because it could. And I'm just curious. I am very curious. I will say this is something that WWE has done very well as far as Shinsuke Nakamura is concerned. It's got me curious. I want to know who this person is. Who's he talking about?
If indeed CM Punk was to come back, would it not make more sense for them to actually sell that idea, because that would sell more of the show, right? So rather than hiding it behind they might allude to it, right? I guess that's what they're doing right now.
Oh, to the Shinsuke
to his
Nakamura
return.
thing? Oh, to his return.
Yeah, to his return. I like him coming back at the Royal Rumble, but not winning it. I like him coming back there, maybe being like number 29 or something like that. But I don't want him to win it because he'll never be trusted again in this business. He's not going to do anything.
I'm just saying that if he was going to, I don't think it is, but if they were going to do it, it's right there. The perfect scenario is right here.
I can see him coming to Chicago.
If you don't do it there, I don't see the point in doing it after that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because right now is the perfect time. But you might be right. Maybe they do still talk, and maybe this does lead up to a Royal Rumble return. But if you want that pop moment, and I'm just also throwing this out there a little bit out there too. If your goal is also to do anything you can to stick it to Tony Khan and AEW, this is the moment. Take the guy you fired, bring him back home in his hometown, showcase him in front of everybody. Take that, Tony Khan.
That's a lot of.
This is just a lot of like me just talking. Like it's.
Well, no, that's a lot of good things happening to somebody who just got fired for reasons that are not very good.
When you talk about it from a schematic standpoint, it doesn't make sense, and you shouldn't do it. but WWE is a business, and they're all about making money. And this guy, despite everything that happened, was the top seller on that company. They made a show for him, for God's sakes, and they sold everybody on that. Is he a good guy? Who knows? But if they talked and were able to work something out, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't give it one more shot. Try it out. See what happens. What's the worst thing going to happen? You're just going to fire him again? But what's the best thing that could happen? Woo, a lot. A lot of these guys on this roster he hasn't had matches with before. And I'd like to see him because he was still wrestling pretty well in AEW. But anyways, that's just being fun. It's definitely gonna. Not that there wasn't already going to be, but it's gonna put a lot of eyes on Survivor Series to see what happens and goes down. Overall, I thought Raw, this go home show overall was kind of interesting for a go home show. I do think that the good thing is that every single segment, every single match seemed to have something to do with what's going to happen this Saturday at Survivor Series. So I thought that was good. The way, like I said, the way it ended, it was kind of lackluster. I wish it would have ended on kind of a bigger high, like getting me really, really pumped up for Survivor Series. I'm still there, but that Randy Orton return just would have like taken it over the top. So overall, I thought this show of Raw tonight was a B-. Overall as a show. Good show. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it the whole time, but some things that could have brought it here didn't happen. So
Yeah, I agree. Um, just to touch on the Shinsuke match, I was really disappointed because it was 2 losses for Team Swoosh.
for
Oh, that,
the Alpha Academy, man.
that hurt my feelings, man. I loved the match though because the taunting back and forth was awesome. You know what I mean with Chad Gable with the come on.
They're great. Those guys work so well together. That group is so amazing. The Alpha Academy is
Yeah,
so
it,
good.
it was it was good though. I agree. I'll give it a B minus. It was good.
That was your show grade, or that's your match grade?
For the show. For the
The show,
show.
yeah.
I'm gonna give the show a B. I think it was lukewarm. I think it had one. I think it had several good spots that were just marred by like no follow through. I guess that would be like I said, it was anticlimactic in several spots. A lot of the matches ended. Although they ended clean, they kind of ended just like in a weird spot. Even the Shinsuke match ended with like a roll up. So
True.
I was like, okay, it's a good match, and then it just boom, it's over really quick. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. I think it was very lukewarm. I think it's the setup. So we're waiting to see for, the setup for next week, I guess, and then actually we're right around the corner, right? So what Saturday is War Games.
Yeah, Saturday's War Games.
War Games is like a weird pay-per-view now. It's like it's just got like all these like
Yeah,
all
so
the angles change on War Games.
yeah, and so this is, I think, the problem with having two events in a month. Like you had the what was
Crown
it,
Jewel?
the Crown Jewel earlier this month, and then you only have enough time to build towards Survivor Series for about, what was it, like 3 weeks. So I think that's kind of the problem, is that you kind of have to jumble everything. You have to make everything work quick, which is why these go home shows, which should feel a lot bigger, feel a little bit smaller. But I mean, Survivor Series is supposed to be one of the big four, but I think they put more of their effort into the Saudi things, which is fine. They get paid a lot more money for those, but so I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, like kind of hope that it would have blew your mind going to it, but Randy Orton return would have definitely done that. But it'll be cool to see him. So with that being said, I like, you're talking about Survivor Series, right? In the War Game stuff, I have the card written out. I'm gonna go through it just so that I thought this card is kind of interesting. We have the Carlito versus Santos Escobar match. That's one of these, and
Is that the pregame match?
no, these are all matches that are on the main card, from what I understand. So Carlito versus Santos Escobar. That whole thing is fresh. We still have a SmackDown coming up on Friday to go before we get to all these points, but that one, I'm looking forward to seeing Carlito versus Santos. I think it just furthers that whole Santos breaking up with the LWO and Ray and whatnot. Then we got the Miz and Gunther for the IC title, which I think we're all in agreement that has a high chance of being match of the night. I think those two will actually work very well together. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a squash. I'd be surprised if it was. But I'm looking forward to that one. Then we have Zoe Stark versus Rhea for the women's world title, which I just, until this show happened, I kind of forgot about it. And I just don't think there's been very much. They had a little small backstage segment on Raw, and I was just kind of like, I don't believe it. Like, you're not going to beat Rhea. It's just not going to happen. It's not believable to me. But they could have a good match. If there's one thing that the Triple H era has, is when you look at the card, you're like, man, these matches sound kind of interesting. Then when you get there, you're like, wow, that actually was really good. Then we have the women's War Games match, which, do you all know the 8 people involved in that? I think we do, yes. Right? Then we have the men's, and that's it. Those are the only matches on the card for Survivor Series right now. Yeah, see, I thought when I read the card off to y'all that y'all would be like, that's kind of it. Like, yeah, so a total of just 5 matches on the card right now. And now it's possible that maybe come Friday, depending on what happens
they'll add
Friday,
some more.
maybe they'll add another match or two, depending on what they want to do. But I just don't see what you would add there.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
The War Games matches take so long.
And there's
That's
two of
why.
them. And there's two of them.
Yeah.
There's a men's and a women's. So it's kind of like the
And they're
Royal.
overrated.
It's kind of like the Royal Rumble. Oh man, that's a whole podcast in itself, man. Because I can argue with you for about 30 minutes as to why that is completely wrong. But
Traditional Survivor Series is so much better.
that's what I will say.
Eliminations.
I will say this.
I want that that comeback, that 1 versus 5 comeback, where it's like I'm the last person in and I'm gonna take everybody out. I want that. That's the story. Now you don't get that in War Games. You don't ever get that.
Yeah. So with that, you had the 5 These are the only 5 matches on the card so far. Everything. No tag matches here, with the exception of I guess if you want to call the War Games match, they're not really tag matches though. Kind of free for alls. So there's no tag matches on the card. They're all single. There's 3 singles and then the War Games matches. This is the second year in a row where 1, there's no traditional Survivor Series tag match. 2, this is the second year in a row where now we have 2 of them, and either one of the world titles are being defended on this card again for the second year in a row. So the only 2 titles on the line are the women's world title and the IC title, because the other champions are involved in the War Games matches. I'm looking forward to the men's one for sure. I think you had an opinion on that, but I think with Randy Orton coming back, it's just going to be nice to see Randy Orton coming back. Looking forward to that because, I mean, geez, haven't seen the guy in 18 months. What's going to be the whole thing with Judgment Day and Drew? Are they going to work together? Are they not? Is something going to happen? Last year's War Games match was amazing. The whole thing, the match, the story, how it ended with Sammy, with Sammy and all that. That's why I'm like, I don't know how you think that.
Kind of had the bloodline in there, so that might have helped things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole thing was great. Even the women's one too. The women's one last year was bomb. It was amazing. I thought that one was a little bit better from a whole entire aspect of the War Games match than the men's last year. But this year, the damage control thing, that should be kind of fun. Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, and Shotzi just kind of seem like a hodgepodge of baby faces put together, but we'll see how it goes. But that's Survivor Series. That's what I'm saying. You got time. You got time to do something on the show if you want to add a little something in there. But what are y'all's thoughts on Survivor Series? Are you excited? Are you not?
I'll let Zero go.
I like the Carlito match. It's always fun seeing Carlito come back and do a backbreaker.
Did you say it's always cool?
It's always cool. Obviously, it's gonna be fun seeing him, make history, being the 9-time Intercontinental Champion. The Rhea Ripley match could be interesting because I know that the girl she's fighting always puts on. She always puts on pretty good matches when I've seen her wrestle.
See, that's the problem. It just didn't build her up enough because you're calling her the girl. It's like you would hope that in a championship match, you would build it up enough to say, "Oh man, I know who Zoe Stark is. Man, she's got a real big chance."
Yeah, I was gonna say Zoe Stark. I name and it's like, well, that's not even who she's fighting.
Oh well.
But every time I've seen her wrestle, she's got some good moves, so it could be interesting. Could be a sleeper match. The girls match that's gonna be fun. Could be interesting too because I think they kind of teasing like Bayley getting kicked out pretty soon. So
they could do it there.
Yeah, if that goes south, it could be Asuka and all them, just turning on Bayley and whooping her out.
It could happen.
Yeah,
or she could be the reason that they lose, and then you forward that story like that too. Yeah,
I think for the men, I could see Randy coming in like at 3. You know what I mean? As a surprise, like it's like, oh, when's he gonna come in? He comes in at 3, but I think they still bring Cody out last because he's like, he's still the main top guy. As far as who starts it, I could see who starts it. Probably Seth Rollins. He's a champ.
I can see that. So this is my just real quick prediction. Give me Carlito, give me Gunther, give me Rhea, give me give me the women's baby faces. Oh, that's a tough one because I could see many things that can happen here. But yeah, that, and then give me the baby faces on both of the War Games matches.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. There's only 5 matches. So.
I agree with you on all of them except for the Miz match, obviously.
All right. Well, yeah, that is the underdog match on the card for sure, because his odds are pretty much 0. Gunther hasn't lost. I correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't lost to anybody.
Nope.
Like not even, and he's wrestled some big boys and especially in some big matches. So
yeah.
He is not losing to the Miz.
Survivor Series is not the night where it ends for him. Not yet.
Yeah, Miz is in this point where in his career where he's helping to push talent. I think so. So we're gonna see what I think we'll see is a great match though, because Miz, I don't think he's gonna give us a stinker. I don't think he's gonna give us, and I hope, like you said, it's not just a beatdown, because that would be really sad. I'm kind of I guess right in the middle for Carlito and Santos. I think this is a match. I don't think Carlito's going to stay around in WWE for very long. I think that he's on a small contract. He's going to be here. I don't think it's going to matter very much. I think it's more about Santos Escobar than it is about Carlito.
That's true.
So I think that this is going to substantiate Santos a little bit more.
He kind of needs it. He kind of needs it more, to be honest.
Yeah. And then as far as Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark, it's going to be a good technical match because all of Rhea Ripley's matches are good. They're none. She doesn't really have any stinkers, and most of the time she does carry the people, even if they're kind of newer to the business. So, but Zoe Stark isn't like a slouch when it comes to technical wrestling. She's very polished already, but she's not the one. She's not the one that's going to stop Rhea. Mm-hmm. When you talk about, this is where I'm not a big fan of the War Games. I'm just not. I think there's a lot of laying around, waiting for, they're on the floor. One person's on the other side of the ring. You can't really see them. They're laying down on the floor. 2 people are in the ring on the other side. The camera's just kind of focused on them. I think there's giant gaps between when people come in too. So, and then the match doesn't even officially get started until after everybody's in the ring. So, if you have the advantage, obviously it's like a big thing. But the reason I'm not too big into these matches is because they're very lopsided in terms of talent, right? I said, can we talk about the men's match for just a second? You got 5 Hall of Famers probably, and then I look at the other side on Judgment Day. You got Dom and Mr. Nobody. I'm like, this is a mistake, and you guys are wrong. Randy Orton is coming in last. I think the reason he's coming in last is one, it's his return. 2, he hasn't worked a lot of matches. So if he comes in last, he'll have the least amount of work to do.
That's true.
I think the match opens up with Finn Balor or Damian Priest, but it's probably going to be Finn because he's very exciting. So I think Finn and Seth Rollins work really well together. So that'll probably be the opening. And they probably have the most kind of stamina too when it comes to staying in the ring, staying power. So I wouldn't be surprised if Finn Balor's the first person in, and then Dom comes in second, and that's the advantage right there. With obviously, I think Drew McIntyre being last. So I think Drew McIntyre will be last. Jey Uso will be last on the other side as well. So, baby faces for the men, obviously, right? They have so much firepower on their side, and the other side is lacking it. They're lacking the firepower. On the women's side, it's the same story. You have bona fide legends, Hall of Famers on the babyface side. So
Shotzi.
I don't see them losing. Yeah, so you got Shotzi, right? Like she's the wild card in there. So if anybody gets pinned, it's going to be Shotzi, right? But my guess is it's not going to be. My guess is she's not going to be getting pinned. Um, so I mean, aside of that, you're probably looking at two babyface wins. Maybe we are going to get a CM Punk promo. So maybe that's why there's only 5 matches on the card. I hope that they add a few more because it just feels a little light. And this is why I say Survivor Series feels really weird because it used to be a really big thing.
Yeah.
And now it's again, it's because these war game matches take so long.
Well,
like just to get everybody in the ring takes so long. So
it takes now. It seems like going forward I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. But Survivor Series now takes a backseat to the Saudi show. The Saudi show is going to get top billing because of the amount that WWE gets paid for it. So they got to put all their effort into that. And so Survivor Series unfortunately takes takes kind of the back seat, which is kind of crazy to think about, but well, it's just how it goes, I guess. I mean, no world title matches for the second year in a row. It's kind of interesting, but these War Games matches, you're just hoping that they're good, which they should be because the people that are in them are, and that the outcomes are not only what you hopefully expect, but lead to continue to further on the mini stories on the insides of each one. So it's on the other one, the women's one, you got the damage control, the potential breakup there of Bayley from them. Something that maybe happens in there that continues to continue that. That's good. And then on the men's side, how does the judgment thing go? Does Drew win the match for them? Does he do anything to lose the match for them? Who ends up being the weak link that takes the pin from the Judgment Day that then leads to possibly this is the guy we need to X out, right? What if it's Damian Priest that takes the pin? The supposed leader. That's an interesting wrinkle. That's why I'm saying that these matches can work if you're going to work them into... That's the only way that it really, really makes them that much more interesting if you make them work that way. I guess only
you just convinced me right now that Judgment Day is going to win. I don't know what it is, but something you just said in there just made me feel like, look, the babyfaces have nothing to lose. If they take an L here, it doesn't matter for them. They're all going to split up and go their separate ways.
True.
The Judgment Day has a lot more at stake. Enough for that reason, I don't think that they're going to lose. I think that they're going to get the win.
That's why I think if they do lose, the only way that you further that the next part of that story is if Damian Priest takes the pin. Anybody else on that team takes the pin, it's just, well, Judgment Day just lost, right? Another day, we go on to the next day. But if Damian Priest takes the pin, then he's supposed to be the guy, right? The leader. And he just took the pin. What does that do to the rest of the group thinking about, should we start thinking about Damian Priest in this group? But what if Drew wins it for them, right? Wins it for Judgment Day. Does then he decide then to go ahead? There's a lot of angles you can take with that. Yeah.
And it would be a mistake to break up the Judgment Day. It would be a mistake because these guys are going to fade into obscurity without this faction.
Yeah, if we're going to go by the law of averages, I mean, both babyface teams winning. I don't know, right?
Not very likely.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to go with my predictions and say that the both babyface teams win, but a lot of angles. I just made it more interesting for us. There we go.
I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to say that the men are going to lose. The women are going to win because I like the bold prediction that Zero laid out, which is Bayley gets kicked out as a result. And then the men are going to lose. Randy Orton's return is going to be spoiled because WWE likes to screw with us all the time. And the Judgment Day are going to stay strong. And maybe they're going to legitimize either Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre is who I imagine that they're going to legitimize them. I think it's a mistake if they break up the Judgment Day now because you're talking about them fading away into obscurity. If these guys go into singles competitor mode, they are not. Yeah. Look at what happened to Sami Zayn. I told you this would happen to Sami Zayn. I told you that without the
bloodline.
the bloodline. He was just going to fade away into obscurity.
Fair.
I looked at Sami Zayn today and I was like, what's happening with him? Nothing. This man was one of the hottest wrestlers 6-7 months ago. And ever since he left this faction, he's nothing anymore. He's not even he can't even get a match half the time. And now with him and his partner, their reason for being hot was because they were in it with the bloodline. Yeah. Now they fell apart immediately after WrestleMania. They fell apart.
Well, and that was unfortunately the dangerous part of cementing a lot of your angles into one big thing. Is that eventually you were going to have to break it all up. You just can't keep going on that forever. And the key to everything is what do you do with them after? I think that's what they're trying to figure out right now. I think that's also. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I also think that therein lies the problem after Survivor Series that I think they're going to have to figure out is you have to start doing something a little bit more significant with the world title, Seth's world title. Mm-hmm. I think, although I've liked some of the matchups that they've had, but you gotta. Where's the serious contenders at? Where's you know what I mean? Like you have to start thinking about that a little bit. But then we're about to be in Rumble season 2, so then everything changes again. So I don't know. But maybe that's where you can kind of make it. Like I think there's still a chance that you can kind of resuscitate the Sami Zayn story by making him the ultimate underdog, which is what he's always been. But if in order to do that, you have to do something else with the world title. If you just keep it the way that it's going, then none of that works.
I think what could be interesting too is Randy Orton returns and he's heel. You know, he could be.
God. He just turns on Cody and like RKO's him instead.
That'd be the perfect.
And then just walks out of the match.
he
they don't call him a Viper for no reason.
Face, on the faces, and he joins the Judgment Day.
I don't think he does that, but
they get the leader that I was talking about. That's what they need.
Randy
a leader.
Randy Orton.
They get a leader,
that's a hell of a leader.
He'd be able to be light on work. You know what I mean?
I tell you, if we're talking about twist, then that would probably be the biggest one. You think he's coming back as a babyface, but then he's not.
That way you don't spoil Randy Orton's return.
Just RKO out of nowhere.
That way you don't spoil Randy Orton's return, and and the Judgment Day stay relevant.
That would be
that's a bold prediction. I love it.
That would be kind of funny, but that's what we're here for. That's what we talk.
That is a bold prediction, and I love that. I love that angle. I really like, because you're right. If he does do that, his work is light for the next few weeks. He doesn't have to do singles wrestling because he's at the head of the Judgment Day. And I really think they need to keep the Judgment Day together. They're just too hot. They shouldn't break them up anytime soon until they lose it.
There's a lot of things you can do with that, I think, because not only do you do that, but you also set up Cody's next opponent right there.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. I mean, we all know where it's going. It's not that hard to see. This is all a placeholder for next WrestleMania. That's where Cody's headed. But in between, what do you do with him, right? This is one of the things you do with him in between. But after Survivor Series, what do you do with him after that? Where do you put him? And please don't tell me you keep going with the Judgment Day thing. It's been going on forever. It's been going on since he ended his Brock feud, which was back at SummerSlam or whatever. So you can't. I think after Survivor Series, you can't go with him. You got to give something else to Cody. So how do you do that?
That's it.
Give him Randy Orton, maybe. But anyway, but we're talking about a lot of hypotheticals here, which is what's fun. But I'm looking forward to Survivor Series for a lot of different reasons. Maybe some surprises, maybe some not surprises, a lot of twists and turns maybe. I guess we're all going to find out by watching this Saturday. If y'all want to, do y'all want to do this again after Survivor Series? Maybe not right after, but maybe the day after or something. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we do a reaction.
Something like that. Yeah, I think so. I think it's pretty good. See how many of the things we actually said happened and which ones didn't, right? It's kind of a fun way to do it.
I'm hoping Zero's plan comes to fruition because I love that. I love that angle. That's just perfect.
That's a really big twist. I'm telling y'all, if you see Shinsuke Nakamura come out, get ready. Get ready. It's going to happen. It's happening. And be prepared for a lot of those chants throughout the show. It's just going to happen. Like, even if he doesn't come out, you're going to get the chants all night long, which could potentially bog down the show, but I'm looking forward to it. But any final thoughts anybody has before we get out of here?
No.
WWE doesn't need WWE doesn't need CM Punk, and I'm sticking to that. He's out of this business, and he needs to stay out of this business.
That's a fair assessment. But I think it happens. I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to be right here Sunday saying CM Punk is back. The best in the world is back.
Oh, my God. Best in the world.
I don't know. Maybe Brock crashes it and F5's Seth Rollins or something after the match.
My God. We're just talking about all kinds of crazy things now. It's all time to cut off now.
But yeah, we need to figure out what's going to happen with Seth and the world title, because it's a mess right now. It's just he's just going from guy to guy.
I think let's go through Survivor Series and then see what happens. But we'll be right back here after Survivor Series to come and talk about it again. Those of you that joined us today, I hope you liked it. This is a work in progress, so we're going to get better and continue as we continue to do this. I know we kind of ran a little bit long, but hey, that's wrestling.
We'll shorten it down for y'all.
That's wrestling. That's wrestling talk. But remember to like, subscribe, and comment. It helps the algorithm push us out. And if you like what you see, let us know. If you don't, let us know anyways. But that's it for me, guys. Is that it for y'all? Y'all good to go?
Yes, sir. Zeroed out.
All right. That's it. That's it for episode 1. We'll be back for episode 2, hopefully on Sunday. And that was wrestling.